Over the past few weeks, there has been tons of talk surrounding Bayonetta 3 and Hellena Taylor. She said that Platinum Games tried to rip her off, only offered her $4,000 to reprise her role as Bayonetta in this game, and she said that she was insulted by it. And then there were reports saying that she was offered $15,000 to $20,000 to reprise her role as Bayonetta, and that she was offered residuals, and everything sort of blew up. Everyone was very upset hearing this because, let's be honest, $20,000 for 16 to 20 hours of work is pretty decent. But now she's come out providing new numbers, and everyone is calling her out for lying initially. I have a bunch of things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So, I initially saw this thread last night because she posted it in the middle of the night. But first, before we get into the new information, I want to refresh you all on the initial situation. I do have videos up on it, and they will be linked down below in case you want to see them. But it says, former Bayonetta voice actress Hellena Taylor calls for Bayonetta 3 boycott following Platinum Games allegedly insulting pay offer. So, of course, she released 4 different videos on Twitter. She was talking about how upset she was and how, disappointed she was that she couldn't reprise her role for fans, but she ultimately said it was because of money. She said the Bayonetta franchise made an approximated $450 million, that's not including merchandise. As an actor, I trained for a total of 7.5 years, and what did they think this was worth? What did they offer to pay me? The final offer to do the whole game as a buyout at a flat rate was $4,000. This is an insult to me, the amount of time that I took to work on my talent and everything that I have given this game and to the fans. And of course, when we initially heard this, it was really upsetting to hear that she was no longer going to be voicing Bayonetta because, while yes, they did hire a very well-known voice actress, Jennifer Hale, to replace her, still not the same to me and to a lot of people. Hellena Taylor will always be Bayonetta, and when you're, 3 games deep into a franchise, you don't expect them to replace lead VAs, but they decided to, and she said that it was because they only offered her $4,000 as a flat rate to voice this character, which of course, when she's providing numbers like $450 million made on the franchise, that does sound like a giant slap in the face. But then there were reports that were released from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg and a few various different publications saying that that isn't true, that she was offered closer to $15,000 to $20,000 to reprise her role, and she was asking for residuals. I mean, it sounded like she was making a lot of demands, and she came out and said that is not true. It is an absolute lie. There's no way they offered me that much, and now her story is changing. It is important to keep in mind that throughout all of these claims, we haven't seen any hard evidence, we haven't seen any contracts, we haven't seen anything in writing, so it's basically just a giant he said, she said. But when she put out this thread last night, a lot of people's, views on this situation really changed. So at 1:24 a.m., she made this long tweet thread saying, "It has come to my attention that some people are calling me a liar and gold digger. I feel the need to defend myself and my reputation in the industry." As I posted on part 3 of my video thread, I explained that their first offer was too low, and now she's saying that offer was $10,000 total. Remember, this is a $450 million franchise, and then she wrote to the director of the game, and she asked what she was worth, and she said, "I thought as a creative he would understand." He replied saying how much he valued my contribution to the game and how much the fans wanted me to voice the game. I was then offered an extra $5,000. So I declined to voice the game. I then heard nothing from them for 11 months. They then offered me a flat fee to voice some lines for $4,000. Any other lies, such as $4,000 for 5 sessions, are total fabrications. There were not extensive negotiations. I've also been informed of ridiculous fictions, such as I asked for $250,000. I am a team player. I was just asking for a fair living wage in line with the value that I bring to this game. She also made it a point to note I was paid a shockingly low total of £3,000 total for the first game and a little more for the second. I wanted to voice her. I have drummed up interest in this game ever since I started on Twitter in 2011. Now, the problem here is that she initially said she was offered $4,000 flat in her video series, and she made it seem like that was the best offer that she got, but now she's being called out and there's potential of documents leaking. She's saying it was $10,000 plus $5,000. So I definitely think that she gave us that initial piece of information because she wanted to get her fans to boycott the game as a final screw you to Platinum Games. Now, I think that it was really shitty for Platinum Games to not continue to negotiate with her, but we don't have actual emails or conversations to go off of. She admitted she declined to voice the game, so that is what it is. I mean, they've got to find someone else to voice this character, so they need to go out and find someone else, and that's what she did. I mean, if you're going to decline to voice a character, that's it. It's not like they signed a contract and suddenly they dropped you. Now, she points out that she was offered $4,000 11 months later, and a lot of people believe that number was to cameo in the game and maybe voice another version of Bayonetta or just a side character, but we don't have any confirmation either way if that is the case. She also talked a little bit here about NDAs, and in those initial videos, she talked about how she's already broken NDAs and she doesn't think she's going to get sued. So if you're not afraid of breaking the NDAs and she's not going to get sued, why doesn't she just show the documents? If you're so dead set on fighting your case and proving to us the numbers, show the documents, but she's not, which is very suspicious. And nothing official has come from Platinum Games. The only things that we're being told are leaks from people like Jason Schreier, who also aren't reliable at this point. She has openly lied to us. Platinum Games isn't saying anything, and I truly do not believe what Jason Schreier says, because it's always my sources, my sources. I want some kind of evidence from somebody until I make up my full judgment. But if she's not afraid of being sued and she doesn't think she's going to be sued, she should just show us the proof at this point so that people will believe her and she will protect her reputation. Regardless, she has consistently been underpaid by Platinum Games if she's telling the truth about the £3,000 for the first game. I'm assuming by a little more for the sequel, she's talking about like $5,000, which still isn't okay, but you do have to consider that was the beginning of a whole franchise, and what she's worth now isn't what she was worth then. But still, even $15,000 for this, $500 million earning franchise is quite low, but voice actors sadly have struggled with being underpaid. But if she initially said, oh, I was offered $15,000 to $20,000 to voice Bayonetta in this third game, people would have felt very differently, and people probably wouldn't be accusing Platinum Games of just being a disgusting company, and they also wouldn't even be really willing to boycott this title, and that's probably why she gave us that initial 4,000 number, and that is just really, really shitty of her to do. Either way, there are a lot of people that are calling her out on this thread now, that are roasting her. She has made herself look very terrible at this point in time, and maybe she'll end up clarifying more in the future. Maybe Platinum Games will finally give us like a really good in-depth statement. Maybe she'll end up releasing documents, but at this point, I don't really believe that she's going to. People are saying things like, honestly, you should have just been honest and upfront from the beginning. You were offered 15K and didn't mention that originally. Ms. Taylor, it's time to move on. Your defense is that you admitted you lied and misled with your videos. You intentionally omitted details in the videos. Now confirm the financial offers reported by Bloomberg, which exposed your fabricated story, and you think this is a defense that benefits you. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are not very happy with her. I don't think that Bayonetta 3 is really going to see any boycotts. I didn't initially plan to boycott the game just because I do live stream games. I try to show you guys new content that comes out, but I don't think at this point that really anybody's going to be boycotting this title. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it and found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.